Hey guys, and welcome to Grim Dawn. Specifically not a Let's Play, because this isn't necessarily going to focus on one character or anything. Grim Dawn is a isometric action RPG by Crate Entertainment, who are... I'm not sure if they are the same studio or just a lot of the same staff who made Titan Quest, which was a Greek mythology themed ARPG with the cool mechanic of a dual class system, which Grim Dawn also has. Grim Dawn is more of a successor to... It takes more from Diablo 2 than from Diablo 3. People might argue that something like Borderlands takes more from Diablo 3 with its infinite progression through the badass rank system. I would argue against that because there's no real gear progression past that, but that's another discussion entirely. So, I'm going to start a new character. Let's go for a guy this time. I'm not going to be playing on the veteran or hardcore difficulties yet. Go for hero, of course, because what else do I name male characters? I don't have the DLC or the expansion. I'm not sure how I'm going to handle that when I do finally get the expansion. I'm not entirely sure if I care about the Crucible, because that's basically arena mode. But, well, let's go ahead. We are playing the main campaign in single player on normal difficulty, because we do need to actually complete each difficulty in succession. I don't have a build planned from the start, and I'm not going to be going over like the lore stuff or anything, just because that's not the kind of series this is going to be. This is just a chill out, record a cool friggin' game, murder a lot of enemies, get some loot, build a character, and repeat. Alright. So immediately, this is our inventory screen. It kind of reminds me of The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing. But you can see all the detail, stats here. Defensive stats. We're going to need a lot of resistances. Oops. Alright, and notably, oh, there is an achievement system. I might wind up actually, they're not per character, unfortunately. Never mind. We don't have access to our skill book just yet. You do have a fast travel system. Alright, so we start with, sword and shield. Decent attack speed. Enough to grind through a couple of level 1 dudes and level up. Which, yippee. But what this game does better than a lot of other ARPGs is even the early game can be exciting. Your character is defined more, I would say, by gear, at least early game, than what skills you pick up. So let's see. Level up, so we can choose our first class. There are 6 base classes: Soldier, Demolitionist, Occultist, Nightblade, Arcanist, and Shaman. I think I'm gonna go for... a Soldier to start with, which is your basic fighter class. And much like Titan Quest, you have to invest in your class skill tree before you can actually invest into skills. Uh, yeah, I want to take cadence and 2 points in the passive. Well, 1 point in the passive, I guess. I do like how the classes also have, like, default, like, changes to your basic attack. So right now, Burial Hill is up here, I think. But yeah, you can get some really cool items just really early on. Which I'm hoping to see soon. I think there's something like in here? No. My one thing about the game is I'm not a huge fan of the apocalyptic setting. I do kind of prefer, like, my grindy ARPGs to be more cartoony, I guess. Like, I really like Torchlight. I really need to actually go through Torchlight 2 at some point. Borderlands, even the old Fate games. Not the tabletop Fate. There was, now I think about it, it really was just Diablo for kids. But, starting in, I want to say, like, the early mid-2000s, there was a series of games called Fate, and it was a surprisingly detailed Diablo-esque game. Oh yeah, this is the item that made me decide to go for a gunner character with my first character, which still hasn't played much, but you can see it's a gun with a 8% chance on proc ability and a percentage boost to fire damage. Oh, I should also just put points into physique because I'm gonna go full physical here. Oh, you also actually get a little bit of experience. Wow, that was actually a lot of experience for my level by putting lore items into your bag, or into your codex. Where am I going? This way. But yeah, like, this game doesn't even have legendary world drops until you hit, like, level 50 or something. You are really intended to scavenge your gear. Alright, let's go ahead. This might not be super advised, but I'm just going to focus entirely on my passive skill, just because investing in the active skill will actually make it cost more energy, usually. Oh, and physique. Physique is health and health regen. Cunning is physical damage, but I'm not really worried about doing damage right now. So I am focusing, at least, on just being able to take hits. I believe this is one of those any build can be viable games. Ooh, Ullman's Axe. Let's see here. One-handed axe. 3 cold damage and 8% cold damage, and oh, it's a cold equivalent. I believe there is a class that can dual wield, but it's not as good as it sounds. I could be mistaken there. Wait, did I get... No, I didn't get iron bits. So, enemies will also drop these components which can be used to upgrade gear. And if you get 3 of a low-tier component, you can combine it into a slightly better one. Ooh. Wait, I think he always spawns there. This is something I love. They give you a friggin' loot pinata when you kill a unique mob. Let's see. Ooh. So survivability, but I have a great sword. This is gonna go well. But yeah, this isn't one of those games where it's like you're going to spend most of your time just looking for legendaries or anything. Ooh, some scrap. We're gonna need that. That is an irritating resource early on. But yeah, you're going to be swapping out your gear fairly often. And that's something I like. It's kind of like Borderlands 1 versus Borderlands 2. The first game had a much more of a scavenger gameplay style, where just a random drop could easily be better than whatever you currently had. Where in Borderlands 2, once you get, like, to the point where you can farm Bull and Lee, you're not gonna be using non-uniques unless it's like a quad or a Ravager. That's not to say there weren't like useless items in the first game, but alright, this guy, where are you from? Open a rift gate. Alright. Part of the game is sending people back to town, unlocking more quests and stuff. This game has an awesome community too, and Crate is actually very involved in it, just on the subreddit. Like, they are constantly showing, okay, this is a new mechanic to the next expansion. Okay, we're gonna tweak this stuff. Okay. I like when devs are active. Like, even if it's kind of like Ed McMillan was during Rebirth's development, or Binding of Isaac Rebirth's development, where it's kind of sporadic, as long as you're showing what you're doing, that's awesome. And then there are devs who prefer to do, like, rare big reveals, like Digital Extremes, which, you know, that's also cool. Oh. I also need to start investing more down here to unlock more of these passives. Alright. And part of what's cool about this game is how like, you can build whatever you want based on whatever items you want, pretty much. Most builds are viable, some are just better than others, from what I can tell. Like, obviously, I am not super experienced with the game, considering my... Ooh, got a ring. Health regen, nice. My other character is only level 13. Let's put a point to cunning. But I've played enough to tell that this game is freaking awesome. Like I said, this isn't a let's play. This is more of just a record and chill kind of thing. So I'm going to probably build different characters. I am going to get the previous character up to a decent point at least, so that it's not like, oh, I finished Act 1, I'm going to start a new character and play through Act 1 again, or anything like that. It's more so that I can get used to playing different builds. I definitely am going to be... Okay, seriously, where? Oh, here's Burial Hill. I am obviously going to buy the expansion at some point because I love this game already. I picked it up in the Steam sale. I'm not sure I even want to get the discounted version, like a discount on the expansion, because I really want to support these devs. This game is awesome. And they are awesome. Ooh, Aether Crystal. Oh, I also forgot to mention, there's a crafting system in the game. Like, you can craft certain items. It's not like something where you can sneakily get materials early on to make a super OP item or anything. It's not like, God, what's the game I'm thinking of? I actually made a post on gaming suggestions asking for games like it, too. Kind of like Atelier, I guess, where if you know what you're doing, you can become OP super early just by crafting certain things. I guess Gothic is arguably like that, but that's more of knowing where to find items rather than knowledge of mechanics. Alright. Oh, it actually doesn't gain energy cost. I'm dumb. Okay. So now I'm hitting even harder. 2 scrap, 2 crystals. I'm gonna go down this path and see what it's down here. The material system also means that you can't just, like, hop on and grind a specific kind of mob in a specific area if you know that they drop that material. Like, you can farm the bug enemies because, oh, the bugs drop these serrated spikes or something. Mastery bar, that's what it's called. The game also really rewards exploration. Like, even if you just go into a random cave, you're probably going to get something that gives you a devotion point or a skill point or something. Devotion is, from what I can tell, it's a pretty unique thing. I don't know if there's a mechanic in another game that it could be really compared to. Where you devote yourself to, like, a constellation and invest into the different stars. I think they're based on the gods of the world. Loot Pinata! I love loot pinatas, what can I say? Killing raid bosses in Borderlands is awesome. Ah, Devotion Shrine. There is one in here. up here. Usually you have to clear some mobs around it. Aether crystals are awesome to find. They're one of those things that I think you just want to save up from the start of the game, because they become super good. Wow, a lot of scrap. Let's see here. Upgrade. Mage item. Oop. Forgot to claim that XP. You spend a Aether Crystal to clean the shrine, get a little bit of loot, and get the devotion point. I need to look into the devotion points, just because I'm not entirely sure on, you know, what's good compared to, like, oh, this is effectively a crit chance up, or oh, this is a better auto attack. They give passives and active effects, so it's harder to really tell. But I did level up, speaking of. I'm kind of regretting putting so much into that, considering this quickly scales to be better. Yeah, there we go. World drops start at 50. No. Let's kill things first before we go back to town. You never know what might give you a material. And I would have missed that Aether Crystal. I would have seen it on the way back, but oh well. No, other grips. Did I already? No, that's just some straight up armor. Cool. And just to show you how much game there is, yeah. This is a long game. A creature I need some time. Some money and reputation. Reputation is actually super important because it affects your progression on future characters. Let's see, you need 5 scrap. He wants me to kill some characters. That lets me in there. And he has a easy quest for me, which gives me a skill point. I'm just going to put that into my mastery bar. So let's see here. We need to speak to Feldus in here. Is he over here? Oh, the reason scrap is such a pain is because you need it to unlock bridges and stuff. Oh, I should also go ahead and sell these items I don't need or want. Do you have any body armor I can use? 4% physique? Eh. Yeah, I want that for the attack speed. But I don't have enough for a helmet. Alright. So... Oh, that was you, so that gets me another scrap. That's actually what I needed. Cool. So let's go talk to Barnabas and give him the 5 scrap. Alright. So... the cellars beneath the Burwich Estates, which is... oh. Right here. Yeah, there's a surprising amount of, like, questing and stuff in this game. At least, keep in mind that my experience with Diablo-style games is Diablo 3, like, recently. I know that it was apparently real bad on launch, but it's real fun now, especially on Xbox, because it's just... it feels like a console ARPG, I guess. But, and Torchlight 2, which I never really got past Act 1 of. I need to play through that game. Torchlight 1 kind of counts, but that's also more similar to the first Diablo, where most spiritual successors follow the second game. I do have copies of the first 2 Diablo games. I should, actually play them. The main thing that's putting me off of playing Diablo 2 is Act 2 being all desert. And desert areas in games are usually not the most interesting to look at. I'm not sure how much I like this ability, since it's... maybe if I go into Malkovian Advantage more, so that more of the basic attacks, instead of the enhanced attacks, become the practical critical hits. Because the little attacks are, like 30 damage. It's not good. Bunch of money there. Oh, I leveled up? I didn't even notice. Okay. Yeah, let's focus more on... oh, sorry, Markovian, not Malkovian. Isn't Malkovian, like... okay, I take it back. The 30 damage is not that bad, now that I see how much that is on the health bar. Did I really clear this whole area? Wow. Malkovian is like one of the vampire clans in Vampire the Masquerade, I think. I'm kind of glad I put those points into physique just because of how well I'm tanking all this poison damage. Raisha does not work well when taking damage. She chugs potions. What is the bar over the health? Huh. But yeah, I think this, like, the main problem I have with ARPGs is a lot of them don't make the early game interesting. Like, you're stuck in white gear for a while in a lot of the ones that I've, like, tried a little bit and got bored of. Depths of Peril, that's another one that I've spent a lot of time with, and that game is awesome. I actually have an old LP of it. Well, of one round of it. Because it had such a unique structure, too. It was like, it took the diplomacy system from Civilization and gave you a randomized world with random zones. And then you had to compete for quests with the other adventurer clans. It was freaking cool. And then when you cleared a round by every other clan being destroyed, either by you or each other, you got to take the character and all the gear you got and move on to another round where things start at a higher level. Kind of a... I guess you could argue it was a roguelite. Before that was a popular subgenre. Because you could play in hardcore mode. Hardcore mode, I believe. I do want to get some community involvement with this series as well. So if you can go onto Grim Tools and make up a build that you really want to see in action, I'm more than willing, once I'm to the point where I'm making other builds, which is probably going to be about when I have a couple of reputations up, because Reputation does give you access to a lot of things early, like bounty hunts. And I believe that high ranks of Reputation carry over between characters, although I'm not entirely sure on that. Veloth the Corruptor. That's our target. And we're missing a lot. Oops. Boom! Explosion! Explosive! Alright. One of my rings is real crappy. Well, 1.5 health isn't bad. Casting speed, that's not really useful to me. I'll just take the very basic stat upgrades because I don't really have casting speed. 9 cunning, 3% health. Not better than attack speed. Casting speed again. Alright. And another devotion shrine. Any of those items good? not for me. But yeah, the sheer variety of content in this game is cool because you have the overworld grinding, you have dungeons that can have stuff that's worth going through them for, which alone is kind of awesome. Ooh, inventory expansion. The quests give great rewards like scrap and skill points and inventory expansions and all that. Alright, so now I have that completely done. I believe that I read on the subreddit how it works is you can have, I think, up to 150% of your max skill level based on items that have skill points. So, like, you can go up to 18 on Markovian Advantage. Alright. Do I want to have the AoE? I'll unlock it, but I don't know how much I'll use it. Because it does possibly get better with the passives. Alright, I'm gonna unlock the tier 2 stuff, but I'm still gonna focus on leveling up Cadence. Like, I would rather be strongly specialized than weakly spread out for now. Alright, Pharaoh's Julius Whitemire. Okay. You're the dealer. Okay, main body pieces. You have none that I can actually equip. Shoulder pads? None. Oh, wait. Yeah, you do. Cunning and defensive or cold resist? Let's go for cunning and defensive on 2 pieces of gear. And while I'm here, I want to buy your scrap. Which puts me up to... oh, just the 1. Okay. So now I have the Inventor's Apprentice. Find Kapsarov's apprentice in the cellars below Burwich Estates. That's all the way out here. Whitemire is our next area we're gonna go to. We do need... Milton Hart. Oh! Faction stuff, right. Yeah. I guess it's in the Codex. A Sister's Gift. House near the Sodden Hollow in Whitemire. Okay. So I do want to just talk to the people in here. Do that quest. Easy experience. Okay, I'm going to Burwich. So the bounty table, once you get to the right reputation, you can hunt down bosses who I believe typically have unique drops as well. And get lots of reputation that way. I'm not sure when those tick over, but... Can you tell I'm excited to be playing this game? This game is so cool. Aha. I knew there was another quest in here. Oh. Oh, talking to her was a quest in itself. I was like, wait, how am I supposed to get the quest? Alright. So, next up is moving onward toward Whitemire. Probably finding a couple more shrines and stuff on the way. The fact that this game is so good just in its base game and that the expansion is even better has me super excited. And I'm not even to, like, the proper, like, grinding gear for my build part yet. Oh, I should probably put that there. Oh, it applies the poison from my weapon. That is cool. I didn't even think of that. Yo. I apologize if you can hear someone playing, like literally playing it, the song 5 Years. Soon there won't be music from below my room anymore. But it's just something to deal with in the meantime. Man, can you imagine just walking in here from the previous area, just wanting to explore, and then getting one banged by level 9 enemies? Except I don't think one banging is really a thing in this game. Is one bang specifically an old school RuneScape term at this point? It's funny how such a dark game can be so relaxing. Just slash through these giant mosquitoes. Anyway, I remembered what the overlay bar is. I believe that is the vitality bar, which is your way of regenerating health out of combat. Like, staying out of combat gives you faster regen. Or it regenerates your health 4 when you finish a combat encounter, instead of having to either sit and wait or pop a potion. Oh god, there's a cooldown on it. Yikes. It doesn't do bad damage either. Yeah, sometimes you actually have to clear a couple waves of enemies to actually activate your work points, but it's playthrough 1. It's not hard. Unless you have an oof tier build. Interesting how we haven't gotten a single spirit potion yet. Wait, yes we have. We've gotten 4. I was looking at the hotkey number. Alright, so we've got this little camp up here who has a quest. Collect 3 slith necklaces and bring them and 100 iron bits to him for a reward. Like I said, don't expect me to stop and go over the lore. Partially because you should buy the game if you want to go through the lore and quest descriptions and stuff. This is not a paid advertisement or anything, although I would totally love to do that kind of thing for games that I am interested in. I would not, like, force myself to pretend to be interested in something for a sponsorship or anything. So if you see me sponsor something, which, honestly, considering the viewership on this channel, know that I am definitely into it for real. Looks like we've got a dungeon over here. More scrap. Yikes, my inventory's already almost full. Yep, so. Cave entrance. Also, something I'd like to point out, I felt like it was worth purchasing items, even at a low level. That's a rarity for me. Like in most Western RPGs. Ooh, a new sword. I need to bump up my physique to wear that, but it doesn't do damage over time, but it hits way harder in the first place. Plus, I'm early game, I can be flexible and just swap gear out on the fly. Defile the altar of, like, an indigenous people. Actually, no, they're Aether spawn. Oh yeah, sometimes... Oh wait, no, they're just beastkin. Sometimes shrines, you just gotta kill waves. Ooh, a green ring. Let's see what it's got. Like I said, I'm not going over my devotion stuff because I don't really know enough about it. But at level 10, we can choose our second class. Let's see, Nightblade. Excel with all manner of martial weapons, more feared for the deadly blade magic. They're not suited to go toe-to-toe with tougher enemies and to rely on illusion. But I'm a soldier, which is kind of a tanky class.
Ooh, I like Shaman because I can summon stuff. Oh, and it's a two-handed thing. Cool. So now I get lightning damage on physical attacks with a two-handed weapon. Yes. Alright. Devouring Swarm. Oh, that's just a projectile spell. It's not a constant summon. Got it. Ooh, I can stun them and then inflict the damage over time on them since it's piercing, though. That's cool. Crossbow. But I prefer just hitting hard up front. Ooh. A unique dagger. Which reminds me I need to actually look at the ring. Let's see here. Adds acid damage to basic attacks. Plus 11 defensive ability. 0.3 energy regen. 5% armor. 8% pierce resist. 9% poison resist. I guess I'll throw that on in place of the Physic and Spirit ring, which I think is this one. Alright, I'm just gonna port home. Back to Devil's Crossing. Wow, it's been 51 minutes, holy crap. Okay. This seems like a good ending point. I don't do fire or burn damage, so that would just be health, which isn't a bad thing to have more of, but... I'm not at the point where I need resistances, so I guess I can just take straight up health over that. Alright. Anything else before I end? No accessory? Trophy? Slot items that I really need. Might go for that. I think I really am just going to go for the offensive ability bonus. Alright, next time on Grim Dawn, we're going to continue more of these Devil's Crossing quests. Hopefully, we'll get to Whitemire and clear some of those quests as well. Oh, I actually am in Whitemire. Yeah, we'll clear out the Whitemire quests, and we'll see what we get up to at that point. See you guys then. I'll probably also have researched devotion stuff.